And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Grade A Fantasy Channel as we preview my top plays at quarterback for, can you believe it, Week 16. Week 16 of the NFL season. So it seems like we're getting back to regular. What it seems like, like I said, once again, with all the Thursday games, the bye week, the doubleheaders on Mondays, we're back to a Thursday, we're back to an 11-game slate. Because of 3 games on Christmas, the Saturday games has a doubleheader, and you still have a Monday night and a Sunday night game. Next week will be an unprecedented 9. They still got to figure out the last week of the schedule because they're going to flex things. They want people to play 100% and not worry about seeing other teams and, since we lost, we don't have to play later. No, division rivals will either be playing each other or around the same time. But just giving you a heads up, that's what we're in for. Smaller schedule, technically in football terms, 11 games, 9-gamer next week. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the way they have it set up, it's 6 games at 1 and then just 3 at the 4 o'clock thing. But that's just a preview for next week. Now, let's talk about these quarterback plays. I obviously wanted to wait a little bit because now, on top of that, this is around the time that we have to start worrying about, teams being out, or some vets or some young players are going to get a look. Because, this is typically where if you start benching people or whatever, you get a nice sample size of what this person can do in the last 3 to 4 games of a season. So the first move that happened earlier this week, or not even earlier this week, earlier this morning, we'll scroll down a bit. Tua Tagovailoa has been benched. He is now, for the rest of the season, the number 3 emergency quarterback. So Zach Wilson moves up to backup. So Zach Wilson now moves up to backup, and now Quinn Ewers is now the starting quarterback until further notice. Has only 8 passes thrown this year for 53 yards. I think 5 or 6 completions. So Cincinnati, not the best defense, even though Cincinnati defense has somewhat looked better on the field. If you're into that, then 6,300 will be for Mr. Ewers, a very cheap stack. He definitely depreciates the high value cost of what, even though Tua hasn't been playing that well, it's an even cheaper stack when you have him and Waddle or him and Waller in that case, if you want to go that route. Other than that, the only other QB news that you really need to worry about if you decide to go that route, which I think is 100% paid for me, is Geno Smith. Reports have him saying he's feeling better, and Pete Carroll says he feels great about him getting back into the starting quarterback position for next week's contest at Houston. So when it comes to like these reports and the injury front, to be honest, when I look at it, the easiest positions to probably look at, besides, there's still, knickknacks and injury that you want full confirmation on. Quarterback and tight end seems pretty clean this week. So we'll go right into quarterback right there with all the news. Oh, and that's another thing too. Tyrod is progressing. So against New Orleans on the road, obviously the Jets receivers look a lot better with Tyrod than they do with Brady Cook. So that's pretty much it. So still minor questions here and there, but let's get to the top plays. Josh Allen once again at Cleveland. That strong Cleveland defense has now looked weak for 3, or susceptible for 3 straight weeks, but has gotten torn to shreds in the past 2. So if you feel that Josh Allen is just going to nuke the slate, me personally, with the way the run defense looks, this might be a James Cook week. I really do think so. But against this very suspect defense, it just seemed like a few weeks ago, Josh Allen was 92, 94, 96, or 93, 94, 96. And with 2 great games, and, he's still, the price on FanDuel is not jumping totally out the way. 9,000 is not cheap now, but even though if you wasn't going to play him, I at least thought Josh Allen would have been above 9,000. But the fact that he's still around 9,000, still a little eyebrow raising, but I will not sneeze at that. Other top plays for this, I do like Joe Burrow at Miami. like I said, the Cincinnati offense is due for a rebound, and against a bad defense in good weather, yes, Joe Burrow is definitely somebody that I'll be looking at. I'm not gonna lie, since it was a bad defense, I was looking at two as well. But Eber is still, fantasy has its opportunity. What's the opportunity? Him getting the start, but he gets in a way a soft match. Even though the Bengals defense has, even though they got shredded last week, in the last few weeks they've had looked a little bit better than what they were. Jared Goff at home against Pittsburgh. You already know how it is. Unless you got the most stout defense in the league, Goff at home, Lions at home is damn near a must. Justin Herbert, he's 8,000, but just doesn't look good. Dallas is not the Civ defense that they were earlier, but that's just because of how well the front four looks, which includes the front seven. I still think they have a depth of wide receiver talent. Now, we're not talking about the position, but Quentin Johnson did suffer a groin injury, so you got to look out on that. If not, I think Trey Johnson might take that spot. But Ladd and Keenan Allen still looks good against that very soft back four or back five, whatever formation that they will use at the time against Justin Herbert. Don't love Justin Herbert. Ever since his injury, Baker has not looked the same. But maybe they needed those couple of weeks to get all his weapons back and everything. Like, they're getting healthy at the right time. They had a hot start and they stumbled toward the middle. They're still in the playoff picture, so they definitely have to push for the playoffs now. And they got 3 games to do it, so just because of the opportunity, Baker at Carolina, not so bad, even though Carolina is overachieving that defense. The fact that he has a lot of weapons, and now they got a couple of weeks under their belt, as in Mike Evans and McMillan, I definitely like Baker. Baker's not somebody that I would like to cross off. Bo Nix against Jacksonville. Yes, once again, I always shit on Jacksonville, but yes, it's the front four that has gotten better. They are still a team that gets beat deep. So Bo Nix is definitely still very viable. Like I said before, and you see before there was episodes where I used to tell you, when you look at somebody going against Jacksonville, you see this position as 8th and 4th. I'm like, look at that's just fantasy numbers. There's just sometimes fantasy numbers just don't relate to real numbers, even though it's all about stats. It sounds weird like that, but that's the proper way to judge Jacksonville, a 23rd defense against the quarterback. Nice and decent against the run. I'm not buying the entire hype, even though the offense and the team as a unit does look good. But Bo Nix should be able to be forced to pass more, because, like I said, that I will give Jacksonville that prop about. They are looking great stopping the run. They are. So I think Bo Nix will be forced. I think Bo Nix doubles of looking for him and Troy Franklin are definitely do. And maybe if you're looking at narrative route, he used to play for them and then it just didn't work out for them. Maybe he looks for Evan Ingram a bit. You never know. Jacoby Brissett, love him against Atlanta, especially at home. He'll probably be one of my favorite picks, along with Jackson Dart, 75-74. Jacoby Brissett probably the hottest fantasy QB when it comes to basically from the mid part of the season till now. And it's pretty simple. He keeps it pretty simple. Marvin Harrison, his man Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride. That's it. Normally, though, he's so condensed. The 1 week when Marvin Harrison did come back, Marvin Harrison did put a dent in Wilson's ceiling and production. So what you're looking at is basically, if Marvin comes back, it's either pick one wide receiver and you have to pair him with Trey McBride, and there you go. Jackson Dart against Minnesota. Like I said, 2 teams. And this is one of those, kind of hockey games, whatever. You see 2 teams that can't play defense, pound hockey. Well, these are 2 bad teams that are officially eliminated from the playoffs. So what you got here, I mean, you kind of got the same thing with Atlanta and Arizona, but this game is pretty interesting. I like Jackson Dart. Like I said, the defense from Minnesota has underwhelmed. Plus, New York will be playing in good weather. It is, after being frigid last week, it's going to be very nice this weekend. It's supposed to hit close to 60 on Friday and just simmer down a little bit to a regular or slightly warmer for late December, low 50s, high 40s. CJ Stroud against Houston. It's a play that I love, but for some reason, when it comes to this game, I just love Nico Collins singles more. But will I mini stack him? Of course. But It's it just seems like it feels better to play Nico as a one-off than stacking with Stroud, but I'll still stacking with Stroud. Trevor Lawrence against the Broncos. I hope people want to chase that. I will not be on that. We already went on Tua. Aaron Rodgers against Detroit. It's old man Rodgers looking somewhat better than what he did mid-stretch of the season. We're not getting like the first few weeks of the season Rodgers, but playoff push, indoors, good weather, definitely an opportunity there. And when it comes to the quarterbacks this week, I like a lot of paydown. $68 Tyler Shuck. He has now what, if I'm not mistaken, 4 games now of a minimum of 18.2 FanDuel points. So him and Olave. I mean, if you made me choose, I'll take him and Olave over Stroud and Collins. I mean, if I wanted to, I'm definitely doing Tyler Shuck with Collins and Olave mini stack and just have Collins solo by himself. I have no problem with that. Kirk Cousins may look like crap, may not like him, but there's still opportunity there against Arizona. That is a very bad defense. Tyrod Taylor, if he's better, he is definitely an option against New Orleans. Bryce Young against Tampa Bay. Could this be another one of those random weeks where you needed Carolina and you just got away from them? Or you just probably just one off Rico Dowdle or somebody, and then it was just one of those weeks that you needed a passing game. Home against Tampa Bay can be it. It is still one of the worst pass funnels in the league, or great pass funnels for a passer, depending on how you look at it. Is there a little something there? Well, fantasy is part of opportunity, and Gardner Minshew he's no scrub. I mean, he's no star, but Gardner Minshew with the KC talent, he's been with them all season. He's taken second team reps all year. Now he's taking first team reps. Former starter. He has Tennessee to go against. KC's out the playoffs. Gardner Minshew's probably going to have the emphasis of staying as the backup. Who knows how Mahomes progresses? Maybe they keep Minshew, and Minshew probably has to start the first 2 to 4 weeks next year. Just given all the possible narratives, so I still like Minshew. Minshew, I think, is an option. I don't think he's somebody you should X out. McCarthy is a dangerous pay down, but here's the thing with J.J. McCarthy. This year, he's looked like crap most of the time. I'm a J.J. McCarthy supporter, but I'm a truther. He has solid games against bad defenses. The question is, can he get on track with Justin Jefferson? That's the thing. That's where the mini stack of him at $8,300 Jefferson, you can do a whole lot more with your roster if you get the Addison and Jalen Naylor stack right, if that's the case. Because right now it doesn't seem like him and Justin Jefferson are getting, they're just not hooking up. They're not syncing up. And Justin Jefferson at 8,300, people are going crazy. And I was on Twitter a lot today looking at football news, injuries, and warm-ups and stuff like that, hearing anything from team facilities. And people on DraftKings are just going crazy because, well, not going crazy, but they just shot that somebody like Justin Jefferson, he could put a fantasy point on DraftKings, he's 6,000. 6,000. So J.J. McCarthy over there is 4,900. So you're getting both these guys for under $11,000 on DK. And then after that, a pay down defense, and then you're good to go, whatever the hell you want to do with your roster. Maybe even a pay down tight end, and then you still got running backs and wide receivers in a flex to pick. So could this be the opportunity? I will take J.J. McCarthy, yes. Will I be doing different stacks? You have to. Because Justin Jefferson, with the way he's been going, he's going to be low owned. He will be low owned. It's just looking like they only got 3 more weeks to start hooking up and getting things back. So J.J. McCarthy still definitely an option. We already went over Geno Smith. Shedeur Sanders. I don't really like anything else down here. There's really nothing down here. I wasn't on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was happy that he had that game, but I wasn't point chasing what people did last week. If anything, Shedeur, if he just hits his floor, he hits Fannin. Once again, Buffalo's a team that keeps everything underneath. That definitely helps with Fannin. But here's the thing this week. It's probably Judy this week. Because the one thing the Bills do have, they have good cover tight ends. The value, because of how many times he's going to get targeted, Fannin is still an option. Normally tight ends are a rule out for me against Buffalo. But Yeah, Shador. Shador's a GBP anyway. It's a GBP stack if you take Judy and Fanning. I think it's a real GBP stack if you just take Fanning by itself. Like I said, there's just certain matchups that I just know about. And Buffalo's been the same defense, same personnel, same staff calling the plays. They keep everything underneath, which fits Fanning more than Judy. But the one thing they've always had in this Josh Allen era is solid coverage linebackers. So I don't really know about that. But that is the end of my preview. Thank you for tuning in once again for the quarterback plays for Week 16. Once again, Week 16, 11 games. Next week, I guess you can call it an abbreviated schedule because they have so many games on Saturday and Christmas. The NFL basically has 5 games in 2 days. Then comes the Sunday schedule. Still Sunday night football. Still Monday night football. So get ready for all that. And then, of course, with the way the playoff picture is looking, everything is basically a flex. If you look at the NFL Network, if you look at ESPN, nothing is set in stone. Everything will be played Sunday. Is just a case of, and they have a location, obviously, it's just a case of what time. Are you going to be in the 1 o'clock slot or are you going to be in the 4 o'clock slot? And that's for Week 18. But thank you for tuning in. Let's get through Week 16 first before we get to that abbreviated schedule of Week 17. This is your boy, Grade A Fantasy, and I'm signing off.